What if I told you my coworker sent me very unhinged messages at exactly 2 o'clock in the morning? I tried to show my significant other, but when he read them, he blamed me and said a guy doesn't reply to you like that unless you must have let them on. Well, we get into this huge argument and he kicks me out into the rain at like 3 in the morning. I don't know where to go. I just walk to my friend's house. And when I expect him to call me in the morning and say he made a mistake, he did the worst thing possible. He doubled down and blamed me again. So I went to the police and I went to HR, and you know what they said? I'm sitting here on my apartment floor in yesterday's sweatpants, picking at cold pads of pad thai with wooden chopsticks that keep splintering. My phone is face down on the carpet because I can't look at it anymore. Outside, the rain is hitting on my windows and I can barely hear it. It's the kind of storm that makes the old radiator tick faster, like it's trying to keep up. So 24 hours ago, I had a boyfriend who promised to protect me from a coworker's escalating obsession. Now I have neither the boyfriend nor the illusion of safety. Just the strange metallic taste that won't leave my mouth, and the echo of Ryan's last words. Guys don't write things like that unless you give them a reason to. I keep replaying the moment I hit a block on Jacob's number at 1:23 in the morning, wondering if I should have kept the channel open for evidence. Wondering if being frightened makes me weak. Wondering how protecting myself became something I needed to defend. My name is Olivia, 27, junior narrative designer at a mid-sized game studio. I live in the Pacific Northwest. I'm not going to be specific where, but I write quest dialogue, patch notes, and the occasional doc string that makes our lead programmer laugh. I moved here from Cork, Ireland, on a work visa 18 months ago, still adjusting to the way Americans say, awesome, about things that aren't remotely awe-inspiring, and how they put ice in everything even when it's raining. Jacob joined our team 4 months ago as a technical writer. We bonded over surface things, a shared obsession with obscure PlayStation 1 era JRPGs, quotes from a cult animated show that got cancelled after one perfect season. He seemed lonely in that way transplants often are. I recognized it because I've been there. We grabbed a coffee during stand-ups, compared notes on the city's ramen spots, and it's just normal coworker stuff. I thought. The red flags came wrapped in concern. Didn't picture you with a guy like that. That's what he told me when Ryan picked me up after a team happy hour, studying my boyfriend's Tesla like it personally offended him. Then came the weird specifics that made my skin prickle. I love how you pivot on the left foot when you stand up from your desk. The smell comments were worse. Something about my shampoo reminding him of childhood summer. Delivering while standing too close in the kitchenette. He would compare me to female characters from games, in ways that felt distinctly uncomfortable talking about their romance path, while maintaining eye contact that lasted exactly 2 beats too long. I'm conflict avoidant by nature, maybe by necessity. Being on visa means you don't rock a boat. Being new means you handle things softly, and I would redirect conversations, mention Ryan more often, and take stairs when Jacob took elevators. I told myself I was just managing it. Ryan and I had been together 14 months. He's a product manager at a health tech startup, the kind of person who meal preps on Sundays and has opinions about optimal sleep cycle. His last engagement ended when he found his fiance's secondary email account full of messages. Messages to someone from her CrossFit gym. The betrayal calcified it's something inside of him. He would go rigid whenever infidelity came up in movies. He would skip episodes of shows that featured a cheating plotline. He branded it as moving forward, but I could see the scar tissue in how he would check my phone when notifications appeared. Casual but consistent. Still, he's been supportive about the Jacob situation at first. Tuesday's lunchroom incident should have been my wake-up call. Jacob had been sending increasingly frequent Slack messages, work questions that dissolved into personal territory, observations about my outfits, invitations that felt more like summons, and when I finally said, I'd appreciate if work chat stayed work chat. In front of 3 other teammates, his face went through a transformation I'll never forget. The friendly mask slipped, showing something raw and angry underneath. I'm just trying to be nice. Sorry for caring about my colleagues. Madison, our team lead, handled it with the kind of calm competence that comes from 20 years in tech. She suggested Jacob take his lunch outside, get some fresh air, then, quietly, why don't you work from home tomorrow, Jake? We'll check in Thursday. He left, but not before brushing past my chair close enough that I could smell his coffee breath. Feel the heat of his proximity, even. Jake will check in Thursday, right? Well, the room stayed silent for 30 seconds after he left. That night, I got home around 7. Made myself a proper meal for once. Salmon, roasted veggies. The kind of meal that says you have your life together. Ryan was at his boxing gym, and I was halfway through a British mystery show when my phone starts to ring. It was 1:14 a.m. Olivia, I need you to understand something about destiny. You're scared of what we have because it's real, not like corporate drone you're wasting yourself on. I see you, the real you, the girl who hums the Chrono Cross soundtrack when she thinks nobody's listening. You don't know what it's like watching you perform happiness with someone who doesn't deserve to breathe your air. I know you live near the marina, 2 streets off the water. Am I warm? The building with the blue awning, right? Oh, we're meant to be together. I've known since the moment you laughed at my little references to our anime show. You even laughed about it. Do you understand what it means? Stop pretending you don't feel this. Stop hiding behind that empty suit who probably doesn't even know your middle name. Yeah, guys, the texts kept coming. Another one. I would worship you. I would build entire worlds for you in code, in reality, wherever you want. Don't make me watch you throw this away. Don't make me watch him waste you. Answer me. I know you're awake. Your Discord says that you're online. Guys, I blocked his number with shaking fingers. Then his Instagram, LinkedIn, everything I could think of. I screenshot everything first, saved to lock notes, and my hands moved on autopilot while my brain tried to process the crap from uncomfortable to genuinely frightening. He didn't have my exact address, but he was close. I don't live in the blue awning, but it's right next door. I called Madison at 8 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday. I was pulling her from her commute. She switched immediately into crisis mode, words like incident report, HR intake, and Slack audit. Also, device forensic review, creating a framework that made me feel less insane. She told me to stay home, that Emily from HR would call within the hour. Yeah, Ryan came home from work early when I texted him. He found me nested in blankets on his couch, laptop open to the HR incident from, I couldn't quite finish the form. He read the messages over my shoulder, jaw clenching with each timestamp. You're staying here tonight. Tomorrow we go to the police. I told him no. I want to handle it at work first through HR, see what they say. I can't. I don't have the bandwidth for both today. He nodded, made me tea, and sat with me while I finished the online HR form. He was everything I needed him to be until he wasn't. That evening, after I'd spent the day in HR meetings and security protocol, Ryan came back from what he said was a grocery run. His energy shifted. Cool, sharpened like the air before snow. He sat on the opposite end of the couch, the space between us suddenly significant. Ethan thinks you must have encouraged him. He said that, not even looking at me. Ethan was his gym buddy, by the way. The kind of guy who listens to podcasts about, optimizing masculinity, and called women females, unironically. I said, what? The words came out small and confused. Men don't write messages like that from nowhere. Ryan's voice had taken on a peculiar distance, like he was reciting something he'd memorized. Especially not low-value guys like that. You must have been giving off some sort of signal. Low value? I could taste metal again, sharp on my tongue. The innocent act doesn't work with me, Olivia. I've been through this before, remember? I know how women operate.
females, when they want attention.
The room telescoped. I could hear the radiator ticking in his apartment again. Slower than mine, more methodical. Could smell the lemony surface cleaner his cleaning service uses. It smells like a Target. Could feel my body starting to float away from itself. A survival mechanism I didn't know I had. You think I wanted this? My voice sounded strange, like it was coming from another room.
I think you liked the attention until it got real inconvenient, and now you want me to play the protective boyfriend after you've been feeding this guy fantasies. What, for months?
I need to go, I said as I was standing, already reaching for my bag.
Yeah, you do that.
I walked home in the rain without an umbrella, the 12 blocks feeling both endless and instant. The cognitive whiplash made me dizzy. How did I go from victim to villain in the span of 6 hours? One gym session. How did his protection transform into prosecution? By the time I reached my apartment, I couldn't tell the water on my face was rain or something else. Thursday's HR meetings felt like stepping into a different reality, one where people believed me. Emily from HR, Madison, and I sat in the small conference room with the good coffee machine. They'd already pulled Jacob's Slack logs and documented 17 policy violations in the past 2 months. He'd been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. Security had his photo. There would be escort protocols if he shows up. Emily says I have to mention that blocking him might make it harder to document any further attempts to contact, but your safety comes first. Always. You made the right choice. So I forwarded the screenshots, agreed to loop in legal if needed, and the case number made it real. INC 2024-1847. Madison mentioned the police again, offered to go with me, and I said, I'd go tomorrow, maybe. The visa anxiety sat heavy in my chest. Would this make me a problem employee? Would they decide I was more trouble than I was worth and just like that be sent back to Ireland? That night alone in my apartment, with the new door chain Ryan had installed last month. You know, the irony sharp enough to cut. I got his apology text.
Oh, I'm sorry about yesterday. I felt abandoned when you didn't reach out after leaving. Ethan's been filling my head with crap about how innocent acting girls are the ones who cause the most problems. Can we talk?
I met Ryan at a coffee shop Friday afternoon. It was public, it was neutral, with easy exits, and he cycled through emotions like he was speedrunning the stages of grief, apology, resentment, a flash of actual rage when I said we were done, then back to apologies.
You're really going to end this over one bad reaction?
I said no. I'm ending this because when I needed you to believe me, you chose to believe your little gym buddy's philosophy about females. I said, surprised by how steady my voice actually sounded. In the parking lot, I handed him his spare key. He looked at it like he didn't recognize it. I deleted our shared photo folder on walk home, 347 pictures dissolving into digital nothing. The relief and grief arrived simultaneously. 2 different weather fonts colliding in my chest. I went back to the office Monday. Jacob was still suspended. His deck was conspicuously empty. Succulent, I'd say, still somehow alive despite no one watering it. The team treated me with aggressive normalcy, which I appreciated more than the careful sympathy I expected. I threw myself into dialogue trees and bug error fixes, finding comfort in problems with clean solutions. I was coming home late, 9 p.m. maybe, lost in an audiobook about Antarctic exploration. The stairwell light was out again. Maintenance, that's their problem for tomorrow. I didn't see him until I was fumbling for my keys. Jacob stood under the shadow of the upper landing, hood up despite no rain, and I recognized his posture before his face, that particular way he held his shoulders when he thought that he was being casual.
Olivia.
My name in his mouth sounded wet and possessive. I took a step back and he took 2 forward. The math was not in my favor.
I've missed you.
As he moved in for what he clearly thought would be a hug, his arms were already opening, body angling to block my path to the door.
I said, don't touch me.
The words came out stronger than it actually felt. He grabbed me anyways and pulled me against him with his jacket smelling like cigarettes and something else. Sweet and wrong.
You don't mean that.
Let me go. Hey! The voice came from above. Ethan. Not Ryan's gym buddy, but my third-floor neighbor. The nurse who worked nights was coming down with grocery bags. She said, "Let go!" Jacob's grip loosened but did not release, and Ethan descended faster with his work shoes squeaking on the old wood. He said, "I'm calling the law if you don't step back." Other doors opened, and Miss C from 2B, the Robinsons, 2C. Too many witnesses for whatever Jacob had planned. He released me back toward the exit and, well,
Said this isn't over.
like we were in some direct-to-streaming thriller instead of a shabby apartment building that always smelled like someone's curry. He left. Ethan walked me to my door, waited while I found my keys with hands that would not stop shaking, and Miss C made me tea. The Robinsons offered their couch, and I filed the police report that night. It was Officer Martinez, taking notes in careful block letters while her partner installed an app on my phone for quick emergency calls. So, the next 2 weeks blurred together. HR concluded their investigation, policy violations, termination effective immediately, and they used some corporate, language that avoided the word stalking, but everybody knew. Legal helped with the restraining order paperwork, and the building installed a camera near the entrance, one of those obvious ones meant to deter rather than catch. I changed my routes to work, deleted all social media accounts, and bought new shampoo just so I wouldn't smell like his twisted memory. The police were sympathetic but honest. Without physical violence or explicit threats, the restraining order might take some time. I started the process anyways, each small act of faith that the system might work. 2 weeks ago, I made a decision that surprised everyone except Madison. I'm moving home. Not Cork exactly, but close enough that my sister can drive over for Sunday dinner. My company's letting me work remote, an accommodation that feels like a gift I don't deserve, but I'll take it. Ryan texted last week. It was a long paragraph about how he's been working on himself. Seeing clearly now, and I deleted it, unread after the first line. Growing that starts with, quote, "I've been thinking about what you did wrong isn't growth at all. I'm not running away, I'm running forward. Toward my family, toward community, toward people who don't need convincing that my fear is real. There's a difference between escape and strategic retreat, between giving up and choosing different grounds to stand on. Here's what I've learned, packed between boxes of books and kitchen stuff I'll probably rebuy instead of ship. You're not responsible for someone else's obsession. Their fantasy is not your fault, no matter how many normal conversations they've twisted into evidence of destiny. Love does not abandon you in crisis. It doesn't blame you for being frightened. It doesn't need you to be traumatized to be convenient or your reactions to be perfect. Those early uncomfortable feelings are not oversensitivity. They're your nervous system trying to keep you safe. Document it, name it. Don't wait for permission to protect yourself. And sometimes the bravest thing isn't standing your ground. Sometimes it's recognizing that you deserve a ground that doesn't move beneath your feet. Updates. Posted exactly 3 weeks later. Hey guys, I'm in my new place now, a converted cottage 20 minutes from my parents. The windows face a field where horses sometimes come by, and I can hear the ocean when the wind is just right. My sister helps me paint the kitchen yellow, the color of confidence I'm slowly rebuilding. Or at least that's what one of my books I'm reading says. Jacob violated the temporary restraining order twice before it was made permanent, both times trying to access my old building. I caught on the camera. Each violation strengthened the case, though I hate that it took escalation for the system to engage. Ryan sent flowers to my office before I left. Madison threw them away before I could see them. Told me about it later over a couple mimosas. White roses, she said. The man couldn't even get your favorite flower. She wasn't wrong. I like sunflowers, something that he should have known if he would have ever really listened to me. The visa situation, it actually seemed to work out. I'm not kidding. It worked out. My company sponsored a different type that allows remote work. And Ireland's not so far that I can't fly back for quarterly meetings. They gave me a raise to Madison's doing, I suspect, though she won't really confirm it. I still flinch when my Discord notification goes off. I still check behind me when I'm walking. But yesterday I went to a coffee shop and did not map the exits first. Small victories. To anybody reading this who recognizes their own story in me, you're not crazy, you're not overreacting, you're not responsible for managing someone else's feelings about your boundaries. Document everything even if it feels like overreacting. Tell people even if your voice shakes, and change your locks, your routes, your shampoo, whatever gives you back a sense of control. And if someone you love comes to you with a story like mine, believe them the first time. Don't make them convince you that they deserve safety. Please don't quiz them on what they might have done to invite it. Just believe them. It's the simplest gift that you can give, but it's the rarest. I'm closing my laptop now. The horses are out and there's a patch of sun on the kitchen table that won't last long. My phone's face up beside me and I'm not afraid to look at it anymore. That's enough for today. Final note. Thank you guys who messaged me with resources and support. To the person who shared the workplace safety checklist I used every time. To those who shared their own stories, you made me feel less alone in this. I'm leaving this account active, but won't be checking it daily. If you're in a crisis, please don't wait like I did. Trust your instincts. They're trying to keep you safe. Be well, everybody. You do deserve peace. The only question I can leave you with is, what would you have done if you were in my shoes?